Test match series done and dusted, and what an eventful one it was. Let's focus on the first of 5 T20Is. Then on ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by Realme X7 5G and X7 Pro 5G. I'm Rana Kapoor in the very familiar and very pleasant company of Ian Bell and Gautam Gambhir. Belly would prefer this. It's not a 3 a.m. start or a 4 a.m. start for him anymore. It's nice to be getting into T20 mode, Belly.
Absolutely, yeah. It's I'm sure England as well in this much more, sort of, I suppose, powerful outfit when it comes down to white ball cricket at the moment than maybe in Test match cricket. So yeah, I suppose from an English point of view, this is an exciting one as well as the time waking up over here.
Yeah, and it's such a someone's busy. Yeah, let's focus on the cricket, shall we? It's a big year, Gautam. T20 World Cup lined up in a few months in these parts of the world. Big IPL season coming up. This is an important bilateral T20I series. There aren't too many, and for an Indian side trying to figure out what their best team is going into that T20 World Cup, this could be the start of a big series.
See, again, I think I'm a very different believer in all this. I don't start thinking about the World Cup at the moment. I think it's just about playing another international series against a top quality side, number one ranked side in the world. And it's a great opportunity to, again, represent your country and try and probably win a game for your country. And again, once the World Cup is around the corner, you would have to think about a lot of things about the fitness levels, which player is in form and all that kind of stuff. It's probably a good preparation for all these guys, actually for the IPL. Rather than the T20 World Cup, which is only going to happen in October, November. I think all these guys, whoever get this opportunity to play against England, will be a great preparation for IPL. And I think they'll be much better space as compared to some of the other cricketers who've played only domestic cricket.
That's interesting you say that, Gautam, because I look at this from an Indian fan or an Indian follower of cricket, and I think, there are so many things that India need to figure out. Who's their first choice opening pair? Who are their first choice seam bowlers if everybody's fit? What's their balance in the middle order? And you don't get too many opportunities to see that in T20 international cricket. Is India not? Do you think that it's not wise to look at a T20 World Cup in a few months from now when you have a 5-match series like this?
See, again, you've got only one or two positions to look after, to be honest. I think you've got a very settled opening pair. You won't go look beyond Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul unless and until there's a niggle or some that kind of a stuff. I'm sure both these guys are just quality players and they're not going to lose form, especially in white ball cricket. And they're going to, so probably you'll start off with these two guys, plus you've got Virat Kohli, you will have Hardik Pandya, you will have someone like Rishabh Pant with the kind of form he's in, and then Shreyas Iyer. So once Jadeja comes back, so there's only couple of positions who you need to think about. One, Jasprit Bumrah is fit, Mohammad Shami is fit, you've got Bhuvneshwar Kumar coming back, so you will have all these guys probably will be playing the T20 World Cup. So yes, number 4, number 5 are probably two positions which I would think about. Other than that, I think it's a very, very settled unit.
All right, let's talk about England. They are a formidable white ball side. Well, we've touched upon that in our recorded preview as well. They've started well. They've won the toss. That means very little, as Joe Root has found out recently. But they're going to be having a bowl first. You think that carries some significant advantage at this time in India with teams chasing?
I think certainly off the previous World Cup there, we saw there was an advantage, wasn't there, to chasing under lights and the ball sliding on. I think England, again, there are a number of these players that will play the IPL, and I completely agree with what Gautam has just said there about the advantage of playing in India conditions. But for the guys who aren't in the IPL, I think this is an important 5 games, really, just to get used to these conditions as they do build towards the World Cup. But again, I think the one thing we are lucky with at the moment is, the depth in white ball players, white ball, T20, and certainly in the batting unit. There's plenty of those guys in England at the moment. So I think that's a good toss for England to win. But I think, again, through this tournament, Owen Morgan will probably like to have a bit of a go at batting first as well and use every opportunity of this tour just to find out a little bit more detail going into the World Cup in obviously the back end of the year.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that England team and it looks like it's full strength. So all that resting and rotating seems to have been done. It looks like a full strength England side. That's Mark Wood at the end of that lineup, not Chris Wood. But that's a formidable bowling lineup, just the same. Jofra Archer plays, so he's fit after that elbow niggle that seemed to have kept him out of contention for the 4th test. Good side for you. They've only played the one spinner, Belly, Adil Rashid.
Yes, I think so. I think, again, it goes, I think, with winning the toss, that's probably helped them as well under the lights with the pace and not having the pace-off option. So I think, again, they'll have a balance. I think they will mix it up a little bit in this series. But yeah, it's good to see full strength. There's a lot of options, a lot of different areas for Owen Morgan to go to with the ball. But great to see, again, Jofra fully fit. And this is a format that we've seen him around the world. He is excellent in this format. So a big player for England and a massive boost to have him fully fit.
All right. Before I get to the Indian 11, and we'll just wait for a confirmed 11. I'm seeing that they've gone for both Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel. I'll come to that in a second. We're just looking at that England side. Gotham, they're a formidable white ball team. They play that power game that's made them famous now and a formidable side in this white ball cricket in 50 overs and T20s. Looking at that side, they've gone for just the one spinner in Adil Rashid. They could have played Moeen Ali. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, probably it has a lot to do with the dew. That's the reason they must have gone with four seam bowlers. Because if you end up if you have to bowl second, you might probably have to contain the dew factor as well, and that's the reason they might have just gone with four seamers and plus Ben Stokes and Adil Rashid. So I think it's a very strong bowling lineup. And again, I think Sam Curran batting at number 7, and then you've got Jofra Archer and Chris Jordan. So they've got top 6 batters who can actually win you the game single-handedly, and then you've got Sam Curran, who probably gives you that left-arm option as well. So I think it's a very good side, looking at the conditions and at the same time looking at the dew factor as well.
Okay, that's interesting because India have played both the spin bowling all-rounders. So let's have a look at their 11. We believe that Hardik Pandya is back to bowling now. If he bowls 4 overs, we'll have to wait and see. There's a return for Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in the Indian T20I side as well. He's going to be partnering Shardul Thakur, who gets the nod. Natarajan's fitness was a question mark, and Deepak Chahar has been outranked, it seems, by Shardul Thakur. Bat a bit more, you think. The big news is there's no Rohit Sharma. So it's going to be Dhawan and Rahul up top with Virat Kohli at 3 and Shreyas Iyer at 4. So Surya Kumar Yadav will have to wait. Rishabh Pant back in the T20I side. You think he'd make it straight away. And then you've got Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel. Right, let's go bit by bit. Looks like, I don't know if it's rest or rotation or what it may be, but no Rohit Sharma for this one, Gotti. So it looks like Dhawan and Rahul will start things off for India.
Probably a niggle. That's the only reason I can think of, because Virat Kohli somewhere said that Rohit and KL Rahul will open the batting. But then again, it's another opportunity for someone like Shikhar Dhawan. And hopefully he can actually make it count, because as Virat Kohli just mentioned that Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul will be the number 1, number 2 opener, and Shikhar Dhawan will only be the 3rd opener. So all he can do is probably get runs and probably be at the number 3 opener and cement his place as a number 3 opener. But again, I think India has gone a completely different way. They've actually gone with 3 spinners you're talking about.
That's right.
They've gone with Chahal, and they've gone with Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel. India still looks little thin on the bowling lineup, especially the fast bowling, because Bhuvaneshwar Kumar coming back after a long layoff because of injury. Don't know what kind of a form he's got to be in, and especially when you're bowling against people like Joss Butler and Johnny Bairstow and all those guys at the top of the order. So again, India looks a little thin, especially from the fast bowling point of view. We will have to wait and watch. And I hope dew doesn't play a huge role, because once there's a lot of dew, probably spinners will find it really difficult to actually contain this kind of a batting lineup which England possesses.
Is Hardik Pandya's, we believe that he's fit to bowl, is Hardik Pandya's bowling fitness allowed India to play this? And regardless of that, would you have played things differently, Gautam?
If I would have gone with another seamer, I would have actually not played Washington Sundar. Or to be honest, yes, he's done really well, no doubt about it. But then again, just because Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is coming back after an injury, Hardik Pandya, you never know what kind of a bowling form will he be in, whether he can actually contribute 4 overs. So I would definitely try and actually bowl him in situations which are not that tough, because when you haven't bowled for a very long time, you want your probably 3rd seamer to be bowling after 6 overs and all that kind of a stuff as well. So I would have definitely gone with someone like Deepak Chahar or Navdeep Saini as well. But then again, I think India's gone the other way. Let's wait and watch.
So both Akshar Patel and Washington Sundar come off form in this Test series, Belly. And I wonder if that played a role in Virat Kohli saying, let's pick guys that are in form. Washington Sundar did play in the last T20I. India played in Australia. He could have outranked Akshar Patel if it was going to be room for just 2 spinners along with Chahal. But you just have that feeling that, let's just throw Akshar Patel, into it. He's red hot at the moment. Is that a sound explanation?
I think so. And obviously at the moment, England come off the back of not playing spin particularly well on this tour. But I think this is a different game altogether, different beast, really. This England side in white ball cricket, they certainly won't be. I don't think that I would expect them to play this a hell of a lot better. And if it does slide on with the dew, then there's obviously enough power in this lineup. But I think as this series goes on, and all on the same ground, we will see spin take some part. But on a fresh pitch on first game, I'm surprised they probably didn't play 1 more seamer. And this really could come down to, I think, the execution of some death overs, execution of some important overs with the ball, as both batting lineups look extremely strong and powerful.
All right, let's discuss India batting first, which makes for a very interesting conversation, Gautam. If there is a criticism of the Indian T20I side, especially at ICC events, one has been the lack of a power game, especially when they bat first. They've got to try and outmuscle a strong England side, try to get 200 more often than not. In our preview, Akash Chopra said you can't really think like that. You can't say I'm going to get 200 every game. But looking at the kind of players that India have, are you a little worried at all? Especially today, there's Dhawan, Rahul, of course, and there's Kohli and Shreyas Iyer. Are you worried about a one-dimensionalness, the fact that that issue may not be addressed at all?
It's a very valid question, Ron. That's why I believe that if you have a very strong bowling lineup, it takes a lot of pressure off your batting lineup. Imagine in this playing 11, you have Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. It'll actually change the entire dimensions of the entire playing 11 plus the game as well. The stronger bowling lineup you have, you will not be forced to get 200 every time. You will actually have the bowling lineup to even defend 160. Once you are not very confident about your bowling lineup actually defending 160, then it puts a lot of pressure on your batting lineup to actually get to 200 all the time. And it's not easy. Once you start thinking on that front that I have to get 180, 190 every time, probably there could be a situation you might just end up getting 140. That's why I believe that England, the kind of bowling lineup they've picked in this game, they will always be under less pressure from the batting point of view because they've got a lot of depth and a lot of probably different bowlers for different situations. And that's the reason why I feel that India has gone a little thinner on their fast bowling. But again, I think there has been 2 injuries. So yes, 200 all the time, it's not very easy. But once you have the entire full bowling lineup coming back with Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami, it's going to
Yeah.
be a completely different ball game.
Okay. Now, yes, there's no Rohit Sharma in this belly, but like I've said, these are the sort of criticisms that tend to surround India's top order. They're all good players, and they all do very well for their IPL sides. Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, Shikhar Dhawan. When it comes to playing together for India, though, there seems to be that question of whether they can play different tempos. Is that something that you can develop over time when you're that sort of batsman? You know, you would be a little bit under pressure. Are you always looking at your strike rate? KL Rahul has this sort of talk during the IPL. Is it something that a batsman can work on?
I think definitely. I think the modern day player now are always aware of always trying to improve and certain roles. But I mean, I suppose the important thing for India is their role clarity on what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It's very easy when you're the best player in your team and you're given a certain role. But for India, that might be slightly different. They've got so many good players, and I sort of agree to an extent. And also, I think for the modern day player, a lot of players now enjoy chasing. They like to know what's ahead of them rather than, I think players of past maybe can understand how to set a game up a little bit more, whereas modern day players like to know what's there for them, and that sort of nearly shows the way of what gear you have to start in or where you have to play. But yeah, look, it's just finding, and I do find these games quite interesting for the World Cup, is role clarity, knowing exactly when you're going to go, how hard you're going to go up front, who's playing what style. Which is, again, I suppose it's not a bad thing. Again, that Rohit Sharma, Jadeja, Bumrah aren't fit because it's giving opportunity and depth. Because when those three guys come back in, that's a really, really strong side.
Can I just add? Can I just add one thing?
Please.
It was a very good question when you compared franchise cricket to international cricket. When you go into the IPL, you first of all have a security of playing 14 games for your franchise because you're probably the top player in your franchise. At the same time, in IPL, what happens is that you can actually look to target a couple of bowlers. You don't have to face Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, Sam Curran, Chris Jordan, and Adil Rashid. When you're playing for your franchise and when you're playing IPL cricket, you can actually, you would be playing when you're playing against Rajasthan Royals, you only have Jofra Archer, which you have to face, not Mark Wood and other quality bowlers. So you can actually target the other bowlers and probably see off Jofra Archer. But when you play international cricket, you know that someone like Mark Wood, and then when you have Sam Curran and Chris Jordan, you'll get more quality coming back again and again. So it's always difficult when it comes to international cricket because there is less security. At the same time, the quality of bowling, the quality of opposition becomes even more better, especially from franchise cricket. So it's a completely different ballgame.
So we speak of role clarity. Rishabh Pant's reintroduction to the T20I side, it excites me. I want to see him in this T20I side, Gautam. But what is his role in this team now? His best for Delhi has been when he comes in 3 or 4. That didn't happen last season. He was sort of pushed down the order. He didn't have a great IPL. He's back now in some sort of form. And you've got these players that I mentioned at the top. You've got Pandya, Akshar Patel, Pant, Washington Sundar, and what you think is the powerhouse in the middle order. how important is Pant now in terms of, and what is his role in this T20I side?
See, I think every player is important when you're playing for
Mm.
your country. But at the same time, when you talk about role clarity, I think in T20 cricket, you got to be very, very flexible. You can't go with a very rigid approach, and you can't go with a very rigid batting lineup as well. So you got to be very flexible. Especially, okay, you can have your top three with KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, or Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli. But after that, it all depends on the situation. There could be an opportunity where you might have to push Rishabh Pant at four or Hardik Pandya at four. So you got to be very flexible, and that is what T20 format gives you: the flexibility, not the rigidness. And I hope India will be flexible on that front. And again, I think if Rishabh Pant is in the scheme of things, then he should be playing from now on. He should be playing all white ball cricket till the World Cup, T20 World Cup. I don't want a same situation what it was for someone like Sanju Samson or Manish Pandey, that you fail for a couple of innings and suddenly you've got someone else coming into the playing 11. So it's important for you to get the right, probably get the right combination as early as possible. And if you feel that Rishabh Pant is the guy who's going to play the T20 World Cup, give him a longer run. And it's the same for Shreyas Iyer. It's the same for Surya Kumar Yadav as well, because I think rules should be equal for everyone. And
Mm.
that has been a situation in the past where people like Sanju Samson, people like Manish Pandey, all those guys have not got a longer run. But I hope Rishabh Pant now gets a longer run, even if he doesn't do well in this T20 series or even in the IPL. If you think that he's going to be a match winner, which a lot of people are talking about, that he's going to be an X factor, he can win you games and stuff. So he should be playing all the T20 games till the World Cup, irrespective of his performances.
Fair enough. Which position would you rather be in if you had to pick a type of T20 team? Well, you have India, where you've got three or four guys that play a certain way and three or four guys that play the other way, the power game, and you have to try and find the balance, as Gautam said, according to situation. Then you have England, where you've got Roy Bairstow, Malan, Butler, Stokes, Morgan, and they all essentially play. You know how they're going to play. That's the power game. It almost takes away the sort of, where someone has to play a certain role and someone has to play another role. Everyone's capable of playing almost every role in that team. Would you rather have that as your template for a T20I side?
Well, again, it depends on the conditions, doesn't it? But I think England, certainly in particular, I'm looking at them now. I mean, Joe Root now at the moment doesn't have a place in this T20 side. I don't think it's rested. He's just not there. So there really is one position for that kind of player, an anchor player, if you want. And that's Milan at the moment, who's obviously ranked number one international T20 player in the world. But, so I think England fully is literally all out, going as aggressive as possible. Again, where England sometimes have fallen short in their 50 over cricket, even though it's been fantastic to watch over a period of time, is on a surface where you've got to be smart. It's not just all about power. It's about picking the right bowler to attack, the right options to take. And sometimes they've nearly gone too hard and then not ended up with the score they needed, where they're playing it a little bit smarter and finding a match-winning score. So there's a bit of a balance, but, they will lose the odd game going too hard. But it's been a much better transition in English cricket, watching the way we've played and sort of moved our game forward in this country.
All right. As we talk about other players in this Indian side, now I'm just trying to think if we had to go out of the box, and maybe I'm just forcing a topic here. It's the start of a T20I series. It's only the first game, Gautam. But Surya Kumar Yadav finally getting a call up. Does he have to wait till either the series is won, stroke lost, or till someone gets out of form to come in? Or can you be a bit bold and say, right, I know what Shikhar Dhawan is capable of. He's a solid player. He'll give me what I want when I need him. If Rohit Sharma has a bit of a niggle, why not try Surya? And why not give him a run and see what happens?
I think probably Virat Kohli can answer that question better. But yes, makes a very valid point, to be honest. I think if you've picked someone like Surya Kumar Yadav, you would definitely want to give him that debut as early as possible, because, see, again, I think he's waited for a very long time and he's in very good form as well. When you talk about form, you got to pick players when they're actually in the prime of their probably form, and at the same time you want to use that form. So this is the time where you got to give him that opportunity. And again, I have already spoken about it, that even if he doesn't score runs in this series, he should never be judged by one series. He should be given a longer run, and hopefully he will be given a longer run, because we've seen what he can do. We've seen it probably in year after year in most of the IPLs, that he can actually win you games. He can play all those different shots, which probably not a lot of batters in this Indian batting lineup can do that. He can actually sweep, he can actually lap you, he can play that late card, all that kind of stuff as well. So there's always an opportunity. Plus, actually, there will be pressure on someone like Shreyas Iyer with Surya Kumar Yadav sitting on the bench, because he knows that if he doesn't score runs in 1 or 2 games, there is Surya Kumar Yadav actually looking for that number 4 position as well. But yes, where you mentioned that if Rohit Sharma was not fit, probably they could have given him a go in the start of the series and probably opened with Virat Kohli, because because he anyways opened the batting for his franchise for RCB. He could have done that today as well with the Shreyas Iyer at number 3 or Surya Kumar Yadav at number 3 and Shreyas Iyer at number 4. That could have been a great probably opportunity for someone like Surya Kumar Yadav.
Okay, interesting. The IPL tends to throw up these sort of players that, suddenly they catch your eye, Belly, and it comes to T20I cricket. I don't know how many people in England looked at Sam Curran as the real deal in T20 cricket. He seemed to have had a more impressive start in the longer format. And now all of a sudden it looks like there's a genuine place for someone of Sam Curran's skill set, even when he's playing in our part of the world, after the sort of IPLs that he's had.
Definitely. I mean, he's a fantastic young cricketer, there's no doubt. And obviously, hopefully, over time, he'll become a 3-format cricketer for England consistently. I mean, again, the fact that he's a 3-dimensional, he can bowl in lots of different, he can swing the new ball, he can bowl cutters around the pitch, around the wicket, on tired surfaces. So, look, he's what I like about Sam Curran, he's a young cricketer, but he's a thinking cricketer. He's always quite a street smart cricketer, having played a little bit against him, even when he was very, very young. He's constantly thinking. He likes a little scrap as well. So a really good cricketer. I'm not surprised again that he's done well in the IPL, and hopefully again this is a opportunity for England to again give him a long run, not just in 50 over cricket as well. I think he's one of our young players that again you've got to start building a team round if we're going to be competing in the next few World Cups over the next period.
All right, we have about 5 minutes before the first ball of this T20I series in Ahmedabad. So let's have some fun with Ian Bell and Gautam Gambhir. When we're having some fun chit-chatting T20 cricket, it just gives you another boost of adrenaline when we talk T20Is ahead of a long IPL season. But let's test some cricket IQ as well of Belly and Gautam when it comes to India-England contests. You're getting used to this if you're following us through the test series. It's time for our Real Me Power of 5. Right, the drill, gentlemen. You've been part of it before. I have my beautiful Realme X7 Pro 5G over here with 120 Hertz Super AMOLED full screen display. And it's pretty simple. I'm going to give you a quick Q&A, 5 questions related to India and England, and we'll see who gets more. I'm going to give you a quick timer. I hope you don't need it. These are sitters today. They're absolute sitters. So I'm putting some pressure on you. Let's go to question number 1, shall we? Put your hand up if you know the answer. Oh my God, at what venue did Yuvraj Singh hit 6 sixes in an over against Brody? Look at that. It's an unfair question. Right, Gautam Gambhir? Where was it?
Durban.
Of course it was in Durban. Gautam Gambhir was there. He knows this. Sorry, Belly. It's almost like I've given Gautam the first one. It's a nice lollipop on the round. Okay, it was Kingsmead in Durban. Everyone remembers it. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It's been 14 years to this day. Gautam hasn't aged a day since. I can't complain about UV. But
UV has. Probably tired of hitting sixes.
I hope he's not watching this. Anyway, let's move on. Let's take the next one, shall we? This is question 2. Who holds the record for the most number of runs in T20Is for India? Timer's on.
Oh.
Right? Okay. Who? Wow, that was really close. Okay, I'm going to give Belly a crack here just to see if he knows this. Right, Belly?
In T20s for India. It's got it. Virat Kohli.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. I was very close whether Gautam put his hand up first, but I just gave it for the sake of a contest to Ian Bell. So it is indeed Virat Kohli. He's got 2,928 runs, looking good for 3,000 T20I runs in this series. 1-1. Let's go to our next one, shall we? They've started well. I've got the timer on as well. Here we go. How many centuries does Rohit Sharma have in T20Is? Now, he's not going to get too many today. He's not playing.
No, is it international or
internationals? Internationals. How many T20I centuries does Rohit Sharma? Okay, Gautam Gambhir is saying 3, and I can reveal that is not right. So does Ian Bell want to have a crack at it?
2.
You should have gone one more. Come on, he's a better player than that. You should have gone one more. The right answer is actually 4. So he's got 4 T20I hundreds, does Rohit Sharma. Okay, so still 1 apiece after 3. Let's go to our 4th question. Only 2 England players have scored centuries in T20Is. One of them is Alex Hales. Who's the other? And your timer's on. Ian Bell should know this. He's put his hand right up. Yes, Belly.
Malan.
It is absolutely right. David Malan, the number 1 ranked T20I batsman, should make a presence in the IPL as well. Coming up, scored 103 not out against New Zealand in 2019. So Ian Bell takes the lead 2-1 with 1 to play. It's going right down to the wire. Let's go to the last question. Who was England's first ever T20 international captain? Oh, Gautam's going to have a crack. He has to have a crack.
I have to.
Yeah. He's playing to win. Come on, Gautam.
Paul Collingwood.
Paul Collingwood. Belly, could you confirm if that's right or wrong? It's actually not Paul Collingwood. It's not Paul Collingwood. So
I'm going to go out there because I think it was Michael Vaughan against Australia.
Yeah, it was indeed Michael Vaughan. That's a good answer. So well done, Ian Bell.
I actually never thought that Michael Vaughan had played T20 cricket, honestly.
I reckon it was a little bit just before it got taken really serious as a game, really. I think it was a one-off friendly against Australia, really.
There are a lot of these in the early parts of T20 cricket. There are a lot of people that just got a cap, right? And you look back and you think that was quite funny as it turns out. So well done, Ian Bell. You're in pretty good form in the T20. Guys, just nicking it from Gautam Gambhir. I was kind to give you one, that Virat Kohli one. Maybe Gautam just put his hand up before you. I'll admit that now. Anyway, just for all of you who enjoy quizzing, it's not over here. Just hop over to our ESPN Cricket Info Facebook page and participate in the Real Me Power of 5 contest and stand a chance to win a wonderful Realme X7 5G in every match. So just head over to our Facebook page. Right, a couple of minutes to go before the first ball at Motera. Are we looking at numbers at all at this point, Gautam, in terms of it's this time of year? We're what, in mid-March now, approaching mid-March. We have an IPL to come. Are we looking at sort of 180, 190 as a good T20I score?
Yeah, especially looking at the conditions, and it's a new surface as well. Again, obviously there has been 2 Test matches at Ahmedabad, but it's a new stadium, it's a new wicket, and obviously it would be a high-scoring game, especially with the dew coming in.
I'm just saying, one thing's the score. The other thing, at the corner of my eye, I'm just seeing this new stadium, of course, the all-new Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. I've got the picture right behind me. We saw some numbers, good numbers for those 2 Test matches, but it looks to near capacity, or at least very crowded. I don't know if a lot of these England boys are used to the noise, especially in the last 2 years. They've got to get retuned to it. Is that in any way something that players need to get used to again or reused to, Belly?
I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a difference from what we're used to at the moment. But yeah, I mean, how exciting that is. I mean, looking at this stadium from here, it looks absolutely incredible. And as a player, you want to play at the best venues in front of the biggest crowds, don't you? So I think that hopefully the cricket will match. Obviously, like I said, great support. But yeah, I'm expecting this to be close. I think this could be real marginal, down to execution with the ball on both teams. See whose bowling attack stands up under pressure the most.
All right, thank you very much, Ian Bell, Gautam Gambhir. Let's pick up this conversation in 20 overs time. All set to watch the first of the 5 T20Is. We'll catch mid-innings analysis with Gautam and Ian. So do join us then on ESPN Cricket Info Matchday, powered by Realme X7 5G and X7 Pro 5G.